Hello, welcome to a video slash stream thing. It'll say that it was streamed, but I'm basically recording it first thing in the morning. I've just finished work at 6 a.m. I didn't have time to record a video, so this is the equivalent of that video. So enjoy. If you're in the chat, I might pop in and say hello. But Leeds United's new signing of Sebastian Bornauw is a genuinely fantastic move that does a hell of a lot for the club in ways that we might not especially consider. So I'm going to go through what those ways are, why he's probably one of the better moves that we could have gone for, what his role in the squad's going to be, all that kind of stuff. But first, if you're not yet, I'd massively appreciate you subscribing to the channel. The amount of work that I'm putting into this channel right now is frankly ridiculous. And even if you don't particularly enjoy the videos and stuff, subscribing doesn't affect the amount of stuff you're recommended from me, and it's effectively giving to charity right now. One click and you give 1p to Prostate Cancer UK on the date of the charity match, which is the 20th of July, which would be absolutely wonderful. Hopefully I can see you there as well. Tickets are down in the description as well. Anyway, hopping into the Bornauw thing. Leeds are signing this frankly massive centre-back from Wolfsburg. 191 centimetres tall, so about 6'3" give or take. Was at Wolfsburg on about 54k per week, 26 years old. Genuinely very, very promising player. Not been announced officially by the club, but was expected to have done a medical yesterday, which is a nice tight little time frame. But whilst a lot of people will look at the fact that he didn't necessarily play a ton last season because he just didn't really have the chance to, he had a few illnesses, a couple of injuries, that's going to happen from time to time. A lot of people aren't particularly diving into the numbers and the way he stylistically plays. So, from a numbers perspective, this is the first genuinely very impressive part about Sebastian Bornauw, and hopefully I can find the right screen. There we go. Cool. This guy's performances are frankly ridiculous. So, top 1% for centre-backs of goals scored per 90, which is wild. That is insane numbers. Also top 1% for XG per 90, top 6% for shots per 90 for centre-backs, top 2% for assists, top 1% for XG plus expected assists. The guy's a menace, and a hell of a lot of this comes from the statistic at the bottom, which is aerials won. Specifically, 4.11 aerials won per 90, which puts him in the top 1% of all the centre-backs in terms of winning aerials, which compared to basically any forward is obscene. It's incredible. It's wild. And it means that attackers aren't really going to want to go up against him in the air, but that's not where I'm specifically looking in this case. Where I'm looking is the other end of the pitch, because people for an extended period of time, when looking at Leeds United, have thought, but are they good enough at set pieces? Are they scoring from corners? Are they putting free kicks in? With the answer a lot of the time being no, and fair enough, we haven't been. But the way that this guy will be able to convert corners that might not look fantastic, might have gone a little bit far with other players on the pitch, into goals is a massive advantage. If he gets, what did he get last season? Let's have a quick look. He got 2 goals last season, which isn't tons, but consider that he did that with about 8, 9 matches worth of minutes. That could be enough to turn results around. If he plays every single match, that averages out to about 8 goals. Very, very solid, especially for a centre-back. Those numbers are genuinely fantastic. If you look a little bit wider as well, he also changes the way that we might be playing out of possession. He's not just a threat going forwards, he adds a little bit more of a dimension at the back. Because one thing that might have gone a little bit underappreciated is that with Rodon and Strauch, we had a solid back two. Ampadu, that was a fun little hiccup. Ampadu occasionally comes in, still a back two. Looking at the 2 centre-back signings that we've made so far, you had Biol, who plays in a side that play with 3 at the back. The only times he played with 4 at the back was for his country. And you'd have Bornauw, who similarly tends to play in a 3 at the back system. There's a little bit of a trend popping up here, and it's not a trend that I particularly mind. I've not got a problem with it, because if we're buying players to suit that system, it makes sense. And I don't, to be completely clear here, I don't believe that we will start next season playing with five at the back. That's just not the way that Daniel Farke does things. We're not going to change system that severely. However, I do think it's very, very wise, very, very clever, and very, very safe for us to invest in a system that gives us the opportunity to do that. That gives us the opportunity to say, okay, we've got that tactical flexibility now. If we are able to approach things slightly differently and say, okay, against Man City, against Arsenal, against Liverpool, we'll play with three at the back instead, solidify things in defence. Or if there's two centre forwards against us, go to three at the back, be nice and safe. Then we're sort of doing quite well, because last season we couldn't do that. Because there were times I was saying, well, I mean, if we need another centre back, do we go to Max Foba, but he's seen as more of a left back, or do we go to Ethan Ampadu in there, but then you lose him in midfield? Investing in a decent number of centre backs is a fantastic way forward. And Jamie Miller, who is in the chat for this particular live stream, has done what Jamie Miller tends to do, and you can tell by the icon that he's picked as his face, which is be annoyed at something. Is saying, now Rashford for 40 million, that's a marquee signing. Rashford's been fairly naff, to be clear, for a while now. Not some obscure German no one's heard of. Not impressed so far. 2 injury prone, signed out of 3. Looks like we shopped at Pounds, Lands, and not Harrods. The fact that you don't know a player doesn't make them not good. Leeds' scouts have looked into a hell of a lot of footballers for a good long time, looked at the weaknesses that we've had, and are looking to fill them. One of those weaknesses was we couldn't change to 3 at the back if we wanted to, which we can do now. One of our weaknesses, we were poor at set pieces. We bought a couple of very, very tall centre backs, and if that comes in handy at set pieces, fantastic. It looks like, genuinely, the recruitment that we're doing now is far more intelligent, it's far more thought through, and it's making step towards us being more concrete and not having so many holes in our structure as a squad, where if we get a couple of injuries, it's done. Those days are ideally going to be over very, very soon. And that makes me feel very safe. And at the moment, with the recruitment so far, a lot of people, like we saw a moment ago, are losing their nut at the recruitment because we've not done absolutely everything yet. To be clear, at the time of recording/streaming this, the new FFP period started 6 hours ago. And that's when we're expecting the signings to come in. So from this point forward, we can expect a lot more stuff to happen. But until now, the fact that we've gotten those 3 moves done, they are 3 moves that have solidified the squad, that have built us up around that starting 11, which will also get built up. And it's the foundation of what can be a very, very, very solid start to our time back in the Premier League, hopefully for an extended period of time. This is a good point by Keenan. I was going to end there, but because it was only going to be a very, very short stream. But this is a good point. Had a good few injuries last season. I'm going to have a very quick check of what those injuries were before I close the stream, just so I can have a quick look at it. You see, this is where I wasn't going to have dead air during the stream, but it happens sometimes. I'm going to cover Stack a little bit later, just to be open and honest about that. Yeah, injury history, it's not perfect, but the fact is, one of them was the flu. You can't really help that. That's a thing that just sort of happens to you. Beyond that, can't do too much about a bone edema. And then foot injury immediately followed that. Being immediate, that tells me that it was a sort of recovery process didn't work thing. And then a muscle injury from 27th of November till the 7th of January. I will be completely honest with you. I think Bornauw is cover more than anything. I don't know if he immediately starts. I don't know if he will start. But we need that depth no matter what. And when he does play, I think he's a very, very good player for us to have picked up. But we will find out a little bit more when we get to the season itself, which will be soon enough. Either way, I'm going to end that stream there. It was intended as just a quick video recording style stream. If you're only just popping in now, pop back to the start and you'll catch everything. It's fine, it wasn't too long. If you've been here from the start, or if you're just tuning in now, I'd hugely appreciate you popping a like on the stream. genuinely very much appreciated. Helps the channel out quite a lot. Subscribe if you're not yet, because that takes money out of my pocket and gives it to Prostate Cancer UK. Massively appreciated as well. You can also become a channel member where you get a bunch of videos and stuff early. It's $2.99 a month. You'd be massively supporting the channel and would appreciate it. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.